Everybody likes to look good, and Sephora and Ulta are in the business of doing just that. Today, we're gonna take a look at Ulta and Sephora's rewards programs in the beauty category. They both use some really interesting psychology principles, and they both have some very interesting business metrics tied to them. So, let's get into it. These programs have a combined audience of over 76 million people, and they're both similar in a lot of ways. They both have dollar-to-point conversion systems, bonuses, free shipping at the highest reward tiers, birthday gifts, special access to sales. They have a conglomeration of things that come with the membership. They have a lot of similarities, but where they differ is in value. Ulta's points are simply just more valuable. Value aside, both Ulta and Sephora use two really interesting psychology principles to make the programs work: the reciprocity principle and goal gradients. Let's break them down. The reciprocity effect comes from Robert Cialdini's 1986 book called Influence, Science and Practice. And what is it? It's where people feel compelled to repay when they receive something for free. And who doesn't love free stuff? In fact, as a culture, we celebrate the reception of free goods by doing crazy things like watching television shows about people receiving free stuff.
August wins 456.
And when we receive something for free, even if it's really small, like a sample, we feel an obligation in our subconscious to repay the provider of that free item. Now, if you've ever been to an Ulta or Sephora, you know that you get a whole bunch of free samples while you're there, especially if you're part of the rewards program. So oftentimes, these free products are given to Ulta and Sephora by the manufacturers. And the brands do this because they get potentially access to a new customer using their product. And it's pretty genius that Sephora and Ulta are the distributors of these products, creating that reciprocity relationship between the consumer and themselves with products that they received for free themselves. Ultimately, the reciprocity effect creates a win-win situation because us as the consumers are receiving something for free, and then the brands, both on the manufacturing side and Sephora and Ulta, are getting all of that positive sentiment related to this effect between the consumer and the brand.
Win, win, win.
And ultimately, this creates brand loyalty, whether it's subconscious or conscious, whether we're attributing that positive sentiment to Sephora and Ulta consciously, our subconscious is doing it already and creating a sense of onus to those brands, which is really fascinating. The next principle is something called goal gradients. Goal gradients are where, when we're close to the next step in a goal system, we'll do even more effort than we usually would to get to that next tier, if you will, that next goal space. We get the term from behaviorist Clark Hull, who discovered this phenomena in animals in 1932. Another study in 2006 was released that confirmed this hypothesis, but for people. Sephora and Ulta use goal gradients in their rewards, but they both use these in their rewards programs. So to get into the second tier in Ulta and Sephora's program, you need to buy somewhere in the range of 5 to 7 purchases based on the AOV. So they make this mid-tier pretty accessible and relatively easy to do with only 5 to 7 purchases. If they started off at the top tier, which are $1,000 and $1,200 purchase tiers, nobody would start. That seems like an insurmountable amount of money. I'm not gonna do this and spend $1,200 with your program.
No way. Not this time. Not this time. No.
But because they break it up and those goals are gradiated across several tiers, it makes it feel like it's easier to do and easier to achieve. Then you pepper in the reciprocity principle and the free items that are being provided along with these tiers, and they promote more purchases, which gets you closer to the goal, which makes you drive to purchase more and more.
Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device.
So let's take a look at the financial impact of these programs across Sephora and Ulta. Sephora reported that they have 34 million members in the program, and that's globally. Sephora's a global company. They also reported around 19 billion in revenue as of January 2024. That's from a report from Forbes. 80% of their shoppers are in the rewards program. Ulta, interestingly, has a lot more members. They have 42.2 million members, and they've reported $10.2 billion in 2023 in sales, and they're on track for $11.6 billion in 2024. That's their estimate. But most interestingly is how many people are in Ulta's program. 95% of their sales come from reward members, 95%. So almost everyone that shops at that store is in that program. Their rewards programs also work at their partnerships, store-in-store concepts. Ulta has a store-in-store concept with Target. You may have seen that as you've been in a Target. And then Sephora is co-located inside of a lot of Kohl's stores. I think they both have around the same numbers, right, between 900 and 1,000 store-in-store concepts throughout the US. So it's really interesting to see how those businesses are now within another business and using the rewards programs within stores that also have rewards programs. We'll cover Target Circle and Kohl's Cash in a future breakdown, but pretty interesting rewardception going on there. Hopefully all this is super interesting to you and understanding how these programs work and what works within them. They're designed. A lot of these reward programs are crafted so that they'll work for the business and so that they feel rewarding to us as consumers. Next time we're gonna cover airline points programs, and it's gonna be pretty interesting for sure.
Come on now.
Airline programs have a storied past of ups and downs, and I can't wait to break them all down for you and explain what works, what doesn't, what are the psychology principles at play, and how it affects the business bottom line. See you next time.